I'm Ingram Smith. Max Moody is joining us as well. This is the Battles In newsletter. Wanted to invite you guys to join us as we look back on what's been a remarkable start to Florida State's season. 4-0, kind of a third of the way through the season here. And it's been an incredible start. We're going to use this opportunity to talk to you about what we've been doing from an organizational perspective, give you an idea as to where our membership numbers sit currently, and maybe kind of our plans to how to grow that over time. We have a series of relationships that we've announced over the last 2 weeks or so, and certainly understand that many of you are very busy and aren't on social media all the time. So we're excited to give you an idea as to some of the more recent members of the Battles End. And then Max and I will just sit here and talk a couple minutes about the experience up in South Carolina and what these first 4 weeks have been, and how our own personal involvement in the Battles End has changed things, or perhaps enriched things just for us as Florida State fans. So Max, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much to the members of the Battles End, all north of 900 of you now, who make things like this or make any of the content that we do possible. And let's have a fun conversation tonight, Max.
Yeah, man, let's do it. First, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the Battles End, and more importantly, directly supporting Florida State athletes. Look, I've been one to beat the drum for a very long time as a Florida State fan that, it's important to get involved any way that you can. And the Battles End now is one more outlet for that. And most importantly, at least I guess from where we sit, it's the one way to directly support the current athletes on the roster. There's a lot of great organizations that let you support the various elements that go into a successful program, but the Battles End was formed and operates as the outlet to let you support the guys who are playing for us and girls in other sports right now, currently at the university. So thank you for your support of us, and more importantly, your support of them. It's been awesome to see.
As you said, Max, you can directly support the athletes that you watch on TV or sit in your stands and you watch, but it's also a direct avenue to help Florida State meet the criteria of competitiveness. And a lot of you guys I talk to want to directly help athletes and engage with them, and we are certainly here for that, and are excited and proud of the platform that we've built and are continuing to build out for greater engagement. But, it's also just, Max, it's Sunday night at 9:30, and I'm still not sure my feet have hit the ground after yesterday at Clemson. I mean, it is, it just is as great of an enjoyment in your own personal takeaways from this. And it doesn't mean that if 9,000 people join that we're going to start off at 4-0 every year in football, or we're going to win the national championship in golf, or whatever else. But it certainly gives us a greater opportunity and a more likelihood to do that. So I'm just excited to continue to grow this platform. And look, I always wanted to play football for Florida State. I was never good enough to play football for Florida State, and that was a tough pill to swallow somewhere around the 10th grade or 11th grade for me personally. But it's when things transpire, and when things that we've been a part of, or at least have helped and assist, help the sports that we pair with to be more competitive, then that's a heck of a feeling. And if you're watching this and you're one of the 900 members that's joined us so far, you have played a direct role in helping Florida State be more competitive in the modern era of college athletics. And I thank you for that. And I'm not trying to blow smoke or whatever, but I do hope you take 5 minutes and appreciate that, whether it be, around 3:40 yesterday afternoon, or if it was around midnight in Orlando, or wherever it is. This is a unique avenue. This is an avenue that I, hope as many Florida State fans as possible try to take advantage, because this is a new landscape in college athletics. There are new opportunities to directly support athletes, and we'll talk more about some of the people that we've directly worked with and the more recent additions here in a second. But just want to thank you for the support that you've given us, and also just want to encourage you to pat yourself on the back, because it's a very large role that you're playing, and we just thank you for all the all the support that we've received since going public with this project 1st of December last year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The way I think about it is there's really three pillars right now that have to be rock solid if you want to be an elite college football program. Number one is coaches and players. That's the one that's always been there, right? You go back to, I'll get the years wrong. I almost said Newt Rockne in the 30s. I hope that's right, but I could be off by about 30 years there. But college football was always about who's got the best coaches and who's got the best players. And I think, what would you say, Graham? About 20 years ago, we really started to see the facilities arms race come into play. Oregon and them started to get those crazy facilities. You started seeing buildings that really were absolute cathedrals that some kids were getting to practice in. And that became vitally important. And 2.5 years ago, we saw the advent of NIL, and that became the third pillar. So when I think about how do you build an elite program, well, you got to have the coaches and players. You got to have the facilities and all of the physical, tangible things that attract the best recruits. And you have to have a strong suite of NIL opportunities for players once they're at your university. And, like you said, Graham, I can't get out there and play, unfortunately. I found out my eligibility expired. I guess they don't let you keep it even if you didn't play on the team. So I don't get to do that. I certainly can't coach the team. But getting to do something like this and being able to feel like, hey, we're helping shore up that third pillar that you need to build an elite program is an awesome feeling. And like you said, everyone out there who is a member of the Battle's End, who has supported this journey, should feel like they're part of that critical third pillar to us potentially becoming one of the top programs in college football this season.
It was cool. I was at the Clemson game yesterday, Max, and happened to be just like sitting on the aisle. So I saw a bunch of people walking up and down the stairs there, and it cracked me up how many people took their Battle's End cards out of their wallet and showed it to me. And that was a great moment. And that's why we decided to put those things out there. It's just hopefully you like the card that you've given. And if you don't carry it around in your back pocket to every football game you go to, I certainly understand, but I do. And it's great. And it's just a great little reminder of this project. And it was awesome to see as many people had it on them as they did yesterday. So a very, very cool thing.
I keep mine in the wallet, and it did fall out at TSA once and scared everyone. They're nice, they're metal. So folks, if you haven't joined the Battles In yet, make sure that you join. Also tell people, your friends, all that, to join, even if you are a member, and that way they can get a cool Battles In card as well, because those things are awesome. Ingram, I want to talk about just a couple of our recent guys that we've announced that we're working with. Now, I want to just kind of clarify, when we announce a guy on Twitter, because there is some speculation when we put out a graphic that says we have a relationship with someone, it doesn't always mean it happened the day before. So some of these guys we've been working with for a while. It just obviously may have taken us a bit to do the announcement and things like that. But, a couple of the recent ones, we've got Keon Coleman. Everyone's seen Keon this year. And, aside from what he's done on the field, I mean, Keon's just an awesome guy. I mean, he's what do the kids say, Graham? He's built different. I mean, he really is just a student of the game. I mean, I got to talk to him for about 10 minutes about how he watches film and what he's doing, the day before a game. And his brain is just wired to be a superstar. And he's an awesome guy. We also recently announced Darian Williamson. I guess I'd say every one of these guys is one of my favorite if I let myself fall into that jargon. But Darian's, I mean, he's brilliant. He's battled through a ton while he's at FSU, and he's turned himself into a pretty nice piece in what's a loaded receiver room. So we got to do some content with him as well. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you get over there and watch the interview we did with Darian. It was really cool to see him get his first touchdown against Boston College, against Southern Miss this year. And man, I don't know. I've seen a lot of Florida State touchdowns, and I'll be honest, that was one of the ones I've been more excited for. Even though it was a touchdown against Southern Miss, it was cool to watch him do that. So yeah, and we've got a few more that we'll be announcing in the coming weeks, and make sure y'all are following us on Twitter, Instagram, and all that, and stay tuned for those.
Well, where do you want to go from here, Max? I mean, I know that, I referenced that I was at Clemson yesterday, and just an incredible experience, and to be able to go down on the field after the game and talk to a couple of players that we've been able to get to know at a much different level throughout the process of this opportunity, but just being 4-0, I mean, just speaking strictly from a fan and somebody that lives and dies by how this team does and how they go about, the results on Saturday and how it dictates my emotional well-being for the rest of the week. It's just great to see this program that has had so many, kind of disappointing or perhaps more appropriately titled, just heart-ripping Septembers that would challenge your fandom and everything else to be at this point and to be disappointed because you're only ranked fifth this week in one poll because after you're 4-0 or whatever. I mean, it's great to be able to laugh at some of these things and go, oh well, we're 4-0 and there's a guy out there in media land that thinks Notre Dame should be ranked above Florida State evidently or something like that. I mean, it's great to be back in a place as a fan to have a football program that's amongst the highest ranked in the country. And I guess our process is to be an asset or a resource in any way possible to support Mike Norvell and his climb, and to see that this iteration of the climb means starting out 4-0 and having two of the more impressive victories in college football that anybody can put on a resume, referencing LSU and Clemson is quite the thing as a fan to be able to sit there and look at and just embrace.
Well, I think one thing that I've found myself reflecting on a lot is, look, we've been through the darkest of days, right? It's 2 years ago, I think, right? It was on September 11th, 2021 that we lost to Jacksonville State. 2 years later, here we are. But, realize all the guys who are on the roster then, they've been through exactly what we've been through and more, and I think that that's what this experience has taught me and has been really cool to, one, we've gotten to know the players at a different level, but two, we were able to bring y'all content and let y'all get to know them at a deeper level and realize that, dude, the Renardo Greens, like the stuff that tested our fandom, he had to wake up at 7:30 the next morning and walk into a treatment room and go, man, I'm still playing for this school. What's going on here? What did we just do and what just happened? And, they had to come together and they had to embrace every single transfer that came in that's been a big hit. And they had to put in the work in the off season. They had to put in the work when they didn't know if it would work out. I mean, Graham, like the one thing that I always, when I really try to humanize is like, imagine Mike Norvell coming in, being one of the guys who was here in 2019 and him saying, okay, starting in January, we're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and be on the line, ready to start running sprints at 6 a.m. in January. And, look, when you're number 5 in the country, you're like, yeah, absolutely, that work's worth it. But having the buy-in and the belief to do that, and then go win 3-4 games during the COVID year and then come back and do it again, is it's pretty remarkable what the guys who are on this roster who have been through those lows have really gone through. So I think I don't say that to kind of belittle our fandom because we've all been through our own journey, but to really hope it gives some appreciation of we really are all in this together. It's not like those guys got to hit pause and not experience the lows the way we did and then come back for the highs. And I think, man, it's just what makes it so much fun to root for this team.
It is. There's certainly been many opportunities for perspective over the last 3 or 4 years, and makes the start that this team has had and the general turnaround. I mean, Florida State football now has, I think, the 4th longest consecutive win streak in college football. That is, needless to say, not where we were 3 years ago in any way, shape, or form. So, remarkable turnaround, and it's just a great opportunity, in my opinion, for Florida State fans to continue to build on this avenue of support and to take advantage of what is the modern era of athletics, and if you so choose to emotionally invest in a project that you're very likely to, if your YouTube algorithm is going to suggest this, or if you're a current member and the support that you're given, that to me it makes sense that you would want to support some aspect of the program financially, whether that be us, whether it be Seminole Boosters, whether it be the university as a whole, whatever it may be. We're happy, and if you are a member, we're very proud that you've chosen us as either that avenue or one of the avenues in which you express your fondness for Florida State University. So I referenced earlier in the conversation that we have north of 900 members now, hoping to get to that 1,000 number here pretty quickly. We've been doing this thing where we've had Battles In Players of the Game, and the Battles In Player of the Game for the most recent game, the Clemson game, didn't take a whole long to come to a conclusion here. Kalen DeLoach, Kalen, just a fantastic game in general. One of the better plays that you've seen, in an individual play that you've seen out of a Florida State football player in a long, long time. Oh, there were just parts of it that reminded me of the Greg Reed play from the South Carolina game. And still my contention that way back when, if Greg Reed goes and picks that ball up rather than a linebacker, then he does probably score a touchdown. And that's maybe one of the greatest plays and individual plays in Florida State history. And this time a linebacker did pick it up, and it was the same linebacker that forced the fumble, and it was the same linebacker that had it tucked under his arm when he ran into the Clemson end zone. And just remarkable. This has been a very long-winded way of saying that Kalen DeLoach is our player of the game. We'll be giving away a signed autograph, or an opportunity for an autograph with Kalen that we'll use to try to drive membership moving forward. If you are an existing member and you ever see one of these deals, just email us at info@thebattlesend. Obviously, we need to run promos. We need to try to broaden the tent of members, but we always want to be respectful of the existing members, and we don't want you to feel like you're missing out on an opportunity. We'll have avenues for you to secure that autograph if you want at a very reasonable price. I'll put it that way. So talk with us. We don't ever want to spurn you. We don't ever want you to think that we're taking your membership for granted. We'll figure out how to go about that process. But Kalen DeLoach will be our player of the game, and we're excited to roll that membership growth plan out here starting tomorrow on Monday. But no, it's just been a fun little thing that we've done here, Max, with introduction of players of the game. LSU was Keon and Renardo Green for the efforts that they turned in respectively. And it's also been a membership, growth tool that we've used. Keon was the autograph opportunity that was offered in week 1. And that was, one of the more significant growth periods that we've ever had. So we'll keep doing this, and just look forward to being able to pair with these guys in as many ways possible and create opportunities for them as they go through their career at Florida State.
Yep. Yeah. And in addition to that, we got a lot of cool stuff ahead that we can't wait to bring y'all. Next week, as you're listening to this week, during the bye week, we have a full-on content blitz going. We'll be recording quite the warehouse. We've got some really unique and some interesting stuff to bring y'all's way. And, I think, Graham, one of the things that we try to do is give y'all access to players that you have never really gotten before. So that way, not only can you feel like you're invested financially or emotionally as a member of the Battles In, but you can feel like you're watching guys that maybe a little better than you've ever felt like Florida State players before. So really excited for the content that we're going to bring y'all. We're also going to have home game tailgates coming up for Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, and Miami, as well as is it Northern Alabama, I believe, whatever that game that we've got in there before the Florida game is going to be. So a lot of exciting stuff going. And again, thank you so much, all of you, for your support of us, your belief in us, and your direct support of Florida State athletes. I'm Max Moody. This is Ingram Smith, and go Noles.
Go Noles.